Hey, this is Sergio Dominguez, creator and star of The Sergio Show, with Season 13 commentary. So, as you can see, not the original Sergio Show introduction, but a new one. So, Season 13, I wanted to still make changes to the series. And one of the big changes I wanted to do was actually give it an introduction sequence. I love that. Love that shot of me just with that. I think I made that into a GIF. It was very good. That one was hilarious. Like, you want to have an animated day with me? So one of the changes I wanted to make with the series is change it to a title sequence, or opening introduction. But I didn't know which one. I had so many ideas, so I decided to make them all and just show them each throughout the series. I even upload them as their own videos and see what anybody liked. But I had so many ideas that it ended up being, tossed back and forth. So not all 10 of the new ones that I had end up being uploaded because 2 of those episodes of the season were holiday episodes, Christmas and Halloween. So some of them were released in the next season after this. So that's what ended up happening, but that's one of the big changes. Another change I made is also the mouth animation, a little bit with the sad mouth animation, which instead of being big and wide, it's like a little bit scrunched and tiny and cute, but it works better here, yeah. That's the new mouth pose now for X. For X and A, closed mouth. No, so here we are. This episode is supposed to be the continuing story arc between Sergio and Evil Sergio. So Sergio's direction for against Evil Sergio is really now, instead of just killing him, he wants to be more peaceful about this. That's his next option. Since death doesn't work, just have him go peacefully to jail and have everything figured out. Like, he can still be redeemed, since he was this lost cartoon that went on the wrong path, but here in this case he's too evil. Unfortunately, too evil in his case. But also this episode, I like this episode because I also do like the fighting, because this goes outside of the location. Because I've done a couple fight scenes before, also very simple but very energetic and long, but they always took place in like one similar location. They don't go from place to place. Here I want it to be place to place because this episode, especially the fight scene, is a reflection on something, and that was, at the time, this was 2016, there were a lot of action superhero movies that were being so destructive, and now they're releasing superhero movies that are like self-conscious about that and trying to be careful with it. And I want it to be a joke where they're having an epic fight scene, but it couldn't be really violent or gory. Not too violent or gory, or cause actual damage to the city. That was the main goal, that it couldn't affect anyone else. And it didn't, because this really is just a personal fight throughout the whole time. The design of that woman was insanely weird, but it worked. Because I want this to be like a city in a world full of differently designed cartoon characters. But remember, this episode did take a while. I love that one. Because I can't have him hurt. I can't have Sergio hurt Evil Sergio badly before. I love this joke too. I like that old lady. I think she does come back later. But yeah, that one was good. Very good. That was a good shot. Maybe it's not as good and dynamic as the previous 2 seasons, but still fun. And finally, look, a nice reference. I like the you got to see over the shoulder, like pan zoom. Oh, yeah, animator's Barb, baby. He's not amused. Evil Sergio's not amused, but I'm glad. But I love the joke. I like how ridiculous the fight scene is. I want it to be ridiculously funny. Hello, truck. I wonder why. This is a reference to an action movie, superhero action movie. Of course, you guys know what it is, but I wanted to like make a joke of that. It's like, oh, with pillows. Because who does a superhero action fight scene with pillows? He rolls over, gets up. A lot of big movements here. I love this joke coming up.
Enough! Clearly we're causing too much damage into the city.
Oh, that was the best I can do with that shot, but I love the joke. It's like, no, you kept it clean.
Finally take this into space.
Another bring back joke that Sergio's finally going to go to space. And this is also a recurring thing, that the suit cannot fly. Even with the things that it has, it cannot fly. Oh, I do like the grass shifting. I didn't know I animated some grass shifting. Like shuffling. But I like how there was promise. I love it how there was like promise and hope for flight, but that's as far as it can go. Okay, now his patience wore thin with evil Sergio. No, good enough shot. Again with the alley. I'm really glad that I drew more parts of Toon City because I get to reuse the backgrounds since it's all taking this place in this location. Oh, some good poses. I still wanted to use puppet keyframe animation, but I still needed to make it come off more entertaining than it's ever been in the show. So a lot of more movement and poses and frames have it more energetic. So I'm glad it looks like that. I think it was really understanding software. Maybe it's a little bit of the laws of animation, especially later on, but still, I feel like I was figuring something out, and it's really improved.
You do this earlier. Oh, I first tried to make you peacefully turn in, but you attacked me, and I feel like I did.
Yeah, why didn't he do this earlier? It is because he's evil and he's not gonna stay still in one place for this to work. These characters. I'm glad I brought them back.
You can take him.
One of them has an unfortunate fate that I'm gonna bring up later on, pretty soon.
Okay, Sergio, we got you covered.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He broke apart Sergio Studios. Sergio's trying to just realize what's going on around him, as we all do in life.
That's all for this episode of the Sergio Show.
Yeah, but this episode took a while because it was a big, ambitious episode already out of the gate. But I'm glad it became the season premiere for this season. I think this whole season's good. Let's see, 222. Yep, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one. Well, good enough. Let's see. That one was good. That one was good enough. That one was okay. Yeah, I can understand that one. And season finale. Yeah, the season finale was weak, but we'll get to it. In this season of the Sergio
Studios.
This episode is actually one of my favorites. I love this episode. I love this very much. I love making it. Great jokes, simple story, simple concept, really. But this is a good episode. This is actually one of my favorites. I put this in one of my favorite all-time lists of good episodes. I love the concept. I love movies. I love movie theaters. I love the movie theater experience when done right with the movie and the theater. And movie theaters, you hear movie theaters being so ambitious, and movies themselves try to be more ambitious to be worth going to these places again. And I do love movie theaters and the experience, but everything is a little bit more ambitious and expensive in the movie theater going experience, because it has to be. It has to be, since seeing a movie is now easier than ever at home and other places, so I can understand why. And I love that I'm parodying that by him being a test for new cinematic experience and just the whole meaning of it. And I love that I introduced a new location. I love that movie theater, because Toon City needs a movie theater, and it was going to that's some good animation, cute little character animation. I forgot about that, but that was cute. Well, followed with text. But yeah, I love the design. Oh, I love this one too. This is a good animation piece too. I really did cough there. Oh, I love the animation. Look at him, just flailing his arms, and there's some animation in the mouth a little bit, and in the arms. That sound effect of the film reeling. Oh, I love that joke. Yeah, I think that's based on movie too. But I also love the film reel machine right there. The film reel sound effect, the little drawing there, the film reel sound effect is actually a little old-timey camera my parents gave me recently at the time. And it made this flickering sound, this film reel sound, and I recorded off of that because I love the sound effect so much. I love most in simulators. I love that in theme parks. I love that effect in movie theaters. I just wanted the joke to be, okay, let's take it to the extreme. Oh, that's good subtle movement right there. He's like, huh? Even subtle movements in the animation's good. This one's fantastic. I love this one. I remember animating that, wondering if the episode was going to come out good. But this came out great. I love it. I love this. This is well done. Oh, I loved how it was it's lowering down, and you cut to different parts of it lowering down. This was a good episode. When this came out, nobody cared. It was weird because I was like, hopefully people would like this episode. A lot of good jokes and moments, but it bothers me how at the time nobody cared. Didn't get a good response or nobody cared. But this was a good episode. This is one of my favorites. I love this idea and how the episode came out. Oh, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice I animated the hair a teeny bit. Because I was trying to show how it was supposed to be intense.
Oh, what's this? The epic snowstorm is here.
Music choice is not the best. But yeah, it was supposed to be a joke about effects. Oh, little hand animation. That was cute. There was a lot of cute hand animation
What's
here.
happening? Oh, it's raining razor
Cup
blades.
holders.
Stop. What's the matter?
I didn't notice that was a quick moment right there. He goes back to that pose.
Too hard on trying to give me a good
Oh, there's a lot of character in this animation.
when a really extremely good
God.
doesn't really matter that much. All you need.
But then again, I never let myself do more expressive animation when I had to do review episodes and song parodies. But I'm glad the show's going to a different direction where there's more narrative, more creative ideas. But episodes are unfortunately shorter, but they still come out great and worth hopefully rewatching. I'm rewatching this again and I'm very entertained. But then again, it's my own work. I'm amazed by this. I hope you can understand what the movie theater system is talking about, because it's me, but I wanted to go through audio effects so it doesn't sound like me that much, even though it is, obviously. But it's supposed to be futuristic, because a lot of these movie theaters are trying to be more futuristic, which I'm okay with. I'm supportive of it. To really make it worth going in there. But I love those jokes, him just like torture through the experience.
Let's hope my next theater experience.
Yeah, I couldn't think of ideas for movie posters. I know that's always a gag in cartoons where you see like a funny parody movie poster, but it's too focused on everything else in the episode. But this is a fantastic episode. Actually fantastic, one of my favorites. Simple idea. Have Sergio go through a movie theater that's testing some intense stuff, and you get some cool results. Really funny results. Yeah, and I'm glad also I updated the have an animated day, because it was simple animation of just the arm going up, down. You know, what's so animated day about that? But with the scribbly doodle, like swoopily doobity arm movement, it works. And yes, it is actually one of the few arm movements that's reusable. It's a already made piece of animation reused, but I like it. I like it a lot. I love the episode. Fantastic episode. One of my favorites.
Sergio Studios.
Alright, another introduction. I love this one. This episode's decent.
Hey, how's it going?
This is based on something, and you know what it is? I love how it was like a beam of light to white. That was good. Oh, it's too dark though. That was my mistake. I thought it was light enough when I saw this. Well, that's weird. I don't know where that flicker came from. Oh, why is it so dark? I thought it wasn't that dark. But yeah, like I've said a couple times in the commentary in the series, that yeah, Sergio, my show has like a talk show design and set, but it's not really a talk show. It has talk show moments and it has guests, but it's never really a talk show. So I try to commit it more in this episode as a talk show. So I try to make the Sergio show in this episode more of a talk show. I have a little bit of a spoof on talk shows. That's you know, the introduction's based on something. Yeah, can't afford a band. Maybe I might bring this episode back. I might will, because yeah, it's a fun idea. And honestly, I do have tiny hands. Yeah, it makes my hands look tiny, but they are supposed to be tiny. Yo, I gotta find a way to bring Juan back. For at least this one. This one's good. Oh, and that reminds me. Look, I have to also bring up something from episode 121. I know this is... I didn't have time to bring this up, but... Yeah, that reminded me. In episode 121 of the Sergio show, when I originally wrote that episode, originally Juan and Neil were going to be in the episode, and they were going to help me. You know, but mostly they were going to call like the authorities, ultimately, and I would show them this. But I end up rewriting it. They couldn't send recordings at that time. And ultimately, they weren't really needed for the episode. You know, the military would find them if it caused that much of a commotion. So really, they weren't needed in the episode. They were supposed to send recordings, but didn't. You know. So there was a certain amount of time in the series here where they didn't show up until later. But yeah. That was a little tidbit for episode 121 that I forgot to mention.
Let's just move on from this.
Yep. Yeah, that was like one of the few moments I had to write it, but it worked.
Okay, look, we're supposed to have a segment that's supposed to be funny and a comedian to do a bit, but we can't afford all.
Yeah, this episode's okay because talk shows only talk, so a lot of arms movement here, me going.
Hey, welcome back to the show. Let's meet our first guest. He's in the.
I know he looks thick on that, but
welcome. I just forgot his name.
Wait a minute, did you hear like noise behind that? I think so. My mistake. Oh, this is a good opportunity. This character, I think his name is Derek, or I forgot his name. Oh my god. His name is supposed to be Derek, I think.
Welcome to the show. It's good to be here.
But either way, this character was created for a different animated short that I made back in 2015. Called Baxwell Talent Agent, and that short was in development hell for about 5 years, and I decided in 2015 to just finally make this, and it was this character, and it was him trying to be famous with this agent, which he ended up doing. So he got an opportunity and decided to make it canon in the Sergio show universe. So he shows up. Yeah, that thing was done in 5 seconds. But it was okay. And I forgot how the character actually sounded too. That's why I think he sounds different between videos. The previous video he was in and now. But yeah. So I did take the opportunity of reusing that character and that whole thing in order to get a movie, a guest who's promoting a movie like they do. No, that was a way to get away with it. Yeah, his animation is just like arms rigged, but different poses of arms.
For some reason, we have a clip of you with him. Let's take a look. Well, here at Baxwell
Yep, there's a clip of Baxwell Talent Agent. That took 4 months to put together. That's short. But I love it, and I've rewatched that recently, and that was actually a good short.
Show you those high school students who insulted you and told you that you have no talent, that they...
Maybe I'll do commentary for my old shorts, even this one, but we'll see in the future.
Wow, sweet. Now, in this part of the show, we're supposed to play a demographic capturing game for some reason, but I'm too lazy, so I'm just going to end this episode here.
Yeah, pretty brief episode, but yeah, the talk shows are like an hour long or so. So that's weird, but you know what? Okay episode. This puts it on the okay decent pile. But this actually had views. I was surprised. I was looking back. This was received well. I don't know why. The movie theater episode didn't receive well, but this did. That's insane. But it happens. A lot of times it is a shot in the dark with the audience and what they want to see. It's okay. But I do want to bring the episode back in some way. You just gotta think of other ideas.
Sergio Studios. It's the Sergio.
Yeah, this is not a new introduction. It was just only for the Halloween special because it had to be done for the Halloween special. Oh, I think I reused the zoom out for something else. Yeah, that was a reused zoom out. And this was improvised. Yep, this was an improvised episode. I think there was a moment where I wanted to write, and I wrote some episodes, but I was also like tired, and I just wanted to improvise because I had ideas and lines for the show, but I just didn't want to write them all, especially when if it's only episodes with me in it. So there was a time where I used to write a lot and a lot of scripts, but with this one I was just like, I'm tired, but I need to have this episode done, so I'm gonna just improvise and work with that, which worked before. An episode previous season did. And also I try to cut time, especially mouth animation wise, by having it being a lot of narrator heavy things. There's a hand-drawn animation moment coming up. It's this one. This one was nice. This was cute. Yeah, that was a cute thing to animate.
More Halloween decorations. So he looked around trying to see if he had more Halloween decorations, but he didn't. Then
I love that little like upper lip thing. That happens a couple of times. Like,
So he checked what he tripped over.
Ah, the push-up thing was good.
Thing that was just peeking off of the ground. So he pulls it out, and it's a skull slab pendant hybrid.
Oh yeah, that idea is just because there were too many
So the show.
MacGuffins
So he
and
gets the biggest thumbs
things
up
that
he
were
has,
represented
puts it on
and
one
stuff. So
side,
I'm just
so
like,
the Sergio Studios
yeah, I don't know what to do. So instead, I just added every cliche of like relic and
only to have that
just
huge
every
skull
cliche
go
like
away
prop
once the
that's used in
pendant
horror
slab
movies to bring back the
skull
dead or
face
do something
starts
eerie and
coming to
haunting and
life with
creepy.
dark magic.
Just merge them all together because it was going to be sentient and evil, so might as well just be a mess of it. Nice merger of it.
Oh no! Oh, should have seen that coming. Should have researched this before I did this. Said Sergio. But was this the narrator? I'll find out later.
Yeah, that was an improvised line. Everything was improvised, but
Evil magic coming to life.
yeah, I was like, I gotta fit in a joke whenever I have a moment here.
And even the Sergio
Oh no, he
Studios
takes
house
over the
could
thing.
come.
But that's the thing with these evil beings and villains in horror movies. It's like, you do this. This is your motivation, but really think about why. Like, that was always my problem when I hear about these horror movies. They want to kill, they want to take over, but what's your real end game? Like, what are you going to really do? Especially whatever you are. You're a ghost, okay, but what is really next for you? What is really next in your afterlife? I always love that. I like that idea. It's like, yeah, you're this, but why? Now with comedy, they're comedic. They can joke their way out of it, and it's for a laugh, better than a scare. So, yeah, this was okay episode. This is also one of the nice ones. It's funny. He has facial expressions. When I try to build these things, I try to also cut down on like eyes and mouth movements, because it is stone. Doesn't have to really move his mouth or face that much. But I use like lights, gradient lights, so there can still be some form of character here. But he doesn't have to be animated beautifully. It can just be simply. Do any of you guys like that character? Let me know, because he was good enough. Although that smile, cute smile. Let me know your thoughts about that character. Yeah, he's decent. I love the concept. Probably back to life. Yeah, I'm like going that too. Like,
Someone activated me with Halloween decorations. So you're gonna leave? Yeah. You're gonna take my Halloween decorations?
Yeah, since these are talking, I can just have cut to like me in like half view and close up.
Okay, bye. And happy Halloween!
Oh, that was a nice shot. That was a nice effect. Because I did want it to make it look like magical, like dark magic-y. So that worked. That worked. Modest episode. Modest episode at best.
I got them from a dollar store, so that's no problem.
Your thoughts down below about this character, because I don't hear anything from this character. Like any comments about this episode.
Which is a Halloween special somehow. Anyway, I'm Sergio Dominguez saying have an animated day and happy Halloween!
Yeah, that was a Halloween episode.
I was the narrator of this episode, Chestnut. No, you're good. You're good. Fine. Okay, fine. Thanks.
It's okay. But there you go. The Halloween episode. Modest. I think did I put this through an audio, or maybe I changed the instruments to make it sound creepy, but whatever on that one.
Sergio Studios.
Yes, it is. Let's see. What's the next one? Oh, really? From that to Christmas. There must have been a big hiatus. But I love this one. This was one of my favorite episodes, too. This one's good episode. I wanted the third Christmas special to be... I had this idea. I wanted to feel like a nice classic Christmas special. But I had this idea. What if Santa has these assortment of villains that are parodies of antagonists who hate Christmas. You know, there's certain, storybook characters that hate Christmas. There's too many characters that hate Christmas. They should all join together in a group to go against Christmas, and they're in the middle of an evil plan. Santa needs Sergio's help, and I was like, oh, this is all a great idea. I'm so excited. This is an exciting episode. This was very good. Very long episode, too. 13 minutes. Jiminy's. But it came out great. This was like it wrote for itself. The challenge was, I think I made this back in September. I wanted to make it quickly as possible. This episode, like over 10 minutes long. I think it was 12, 13, I don't remember. But it's one of the long episodes. But it was good. It was a long episode for a reason. Because it had a lot to talk about. And be funny. Good shots. A lot of great jokes. A lot of funny things happen in this episode. Also, I love my performance. My performances. Probably the only thing is the villains are pretty as fun looking as they are, and with their concept, it's bland. They're bland, and you don't really know much about them. You just have to just know them in their non-parody form to really get it. But no, this is still a fantastic episode. I love how it started off with like jingle bells, jingling bells kind of thing. Oh, I love that shot where they go zoom out of the orbit. I remember animating this. I remember starting off as like, this is a big episode. I don't know if I can handle it. So I just slowly started off with the introduction, and I built from there, and then being an episode that I could handle.
Join together to stop Christmas.
Yeah, whoa, what? I think I wanted to cut to some live action though. Yeah, I recorded this off of my phone. I just quickly got a sketchbook and did this. Oh, somebody picked up on the misspelling. I didn't know there was an I there for a while. But yeah, I had to quickly parody these villains. Not only that, but the drawings you see of them were actually end up being scanned into the software and made into the characters that you see later on in the episode. So they start off as sketchpad characters that were scanned and put in. I made tons of like rough early on drawings of these characters. But yeah, these are finalized and scanned into the computer. But yeah, that's the interesting thing. Yeah, there were rough early drawings. I had time just to like set them up first, to concept them and have them go through different designs. And I'm glad I brought back the evil reindeer. I love the evil mad reindeer. I love Moses. And I love that he's coming back even stronger. I think that was much needed. My only problem was there should have been a good fight scene between them, but there was never really yet for a while. Just like two references and then a good final battle. Well, good enough final battle, but that first one was a big one. It knocked me out and I didn't want to honestly do it again. Especially when this episode was already so big. So big. Well, I love my sketchbook drawings of this. I'm glad I did this in live action. I feel like there should have been a scene filmed in live action somewhere. But I also like the elaborate idea. Because everybody's always trying to stop Christmas. But what if the evil villains try to start Christmas? And actually, the plan is that it's worse. Like, I thought that's a clever idea. It's like, oh, everybody wants to stop Christmas. But how about you make it happen, but it causes such a bad effect that they don't want it anymore? That's actually more brilliant than just, oh, stop Christmas. But everybody knows you can never really stop Christmas. Unless you make the whole world not believe in it. So that's a brilliant, well done episode. This one, very brilliant, very clever, creative. And I do like how people are trying to find. I want people to like find out what's really going on little by little. So I always like when it starts off like, what is this insanity? What? And then later on you figure out more and more and more. I think that sleigh looking like that is because I didn't want to put all those characters in there yet. And they're all hidden. But I do also love the animation in this. Like the puppet frame animation and the way things are appearing. Look at that. Christmas cannon. What's in there? I love my grandma's introduction to this. You haven't seen her in a while, but she's back. Excuse me. Oh, I love this joke. I'm in shock. Santa Claus shot my grandma out of a cannon on Christmas Eve or so.
My grandma out of a cannon? Did you just launch my grandma out of the sleigh into another sleigh while rushing hundreds of miles an hour in front of these evil holiday villains?
I don't know what was my line read on the evil holiday villains, but I think I was being so dramatic when I got to those words. I was like almost struggling at one point, but still love the reaction. It's still a shocking moment. How would you feel if your grandma was shot out of a cannon to to save Christmas? Yeah, background's okay. It had to be swoosh. Oh, this one's a nice little animation thing. Yeah, she's being shot, she's getting close, and boom, she got on there. Yeah, these are all parodies of certain holiday antagonists, holiday villains.
As your financial advisor,
You know who. You know who.
don't worry.
I'm still struggling over the music. I'm starting to trying to like really get used to it. I like that parody right there. You guys know what that's a parody of, but it's hilarious. I also do like that there's a rogue elf. I felt like there's got to be an elf or two that doesn't like the holidays, and that's a fun joke. And so they can have access to these things better. So I thought it made sense on a narrative way and a creative character way. This is a good shot too. Well, that was a good one. That was a cute shot.
Sergio's grandmother. Nice to see you here. Yes.
Hmm.
See you again.
Bad choice of notes on the background music. I love that awkward moment. It's like I want to give him one more line at least for that Skrull episode. Skrull character. Skrull.
He's back. And he's meaner than ever.
Oh, I love this animation too here. This sequence is cool.
I'm really tired of Christmas.
Oh, this is a good choice of music. Yeah. This one's good. Oh, that was a nice animation too. Oh, his eyes didn't like slowly pan down. Oh yeah, but the grandma eye reflection thing, I had to figure it out in a couple different ways. That was a little bit of a struggle how to do that. But when I figured it out, it was quick. But there was a still struggle on that.
Before we start the part of Christmas Eve with presents.
I know, I couldn't animate anything elaborate, but... Oh, that's a cute joke.
Your financial advisor just financed this whole plan. It is really...
Yeah, another line for this character, why not?
Looks like the plan is not working. Sergio! I shouldn't do this to
The little...
Plan B. Oh, good. So what's plan B?
Wonder is plan B. It's kind of a little bit like full of myself, honestly, with this idea, but he has to say Christmas somehow. Yes, even if it is a little bit cliche, but it works for this episode.
Why? What does it do? Just do it!
I know. I realized I didn't like that Santa Claus just has black beady eyes. So when I did that, I was like, yeah, he's better with like some whites in the eyes. So he had one more redesign, and it is no more beady eyes. You know, he has pupils and whites. Oh yeah, because I don't want her to get hurt. I tried really hard for my cartoon grandma not to get hurt. Oh, that was that line. Oh, that's because of the swoosh, but. Yeah, that was me making a noise and just speeding it up.
According to my plan to stop Christmas. Whoa!
Yeah, that's a nice little effect. I always love making the monster sounds. I love my grandma's shot. You're like, oh, you're gonna get me no more. Yeah, this is a reference.
Ah, darn it. I forgot to take away that weapon. Oh!
Yeah, that was me trying to also fix a plot hole. I realized I was making this. And it's like, how can he still have access after all that? But yeah.
Santa, what's going on? You see, Sergio, other than Plan A, Plan B was to capture them with
The spirit of Christmas.
And thanks
Oh yeah, that background music you hear, it's on purpose, off-note version of a Christmas song. You know, on purpose, not parody, just like on purpose, off notes. And you'll hear it a couple more times. I don't know if in the series though, it's something like that.
Okay. And I think we've got him. Oh, it kinda worked. I got the rest here. I'm just gonna mildly arrest them, get the presents back, check if they're okay, and then get back to my routine while it's still Christmas Eve. So about Plan A, she'll be okay. We got her. We're okay. She looks okay from this distance.
I think I improvised that line of him looking like he's double checking.
No.
But yeah, this is a calm part of the episode, but it actually came out great. Fantastic, actually. This is also one of my favorites.
While you were trying to pick
A
me.
lot of good poses and a lot of good bits of animation and good jokes. Good comedic moments. And just like a nice array of characters. It could have been more when it came to the fight scene and who these characters really are, but I just wanted to just make the stories short, sweet, to the point. As short as it can be for being like, what, 13 minutes? Pretty surprisingly long episode. But I knew it was going to be long, but there was so much going on.
Wow. Now that was some Christmas adventure that I mostly spent time sitting and watching.
That was very well done. I think my favorite Christmas episode and one of my favorite episodes of the Sergio show. It was like a creative idea. It helped me inspire, I think, the following one for the next season, I guess. Yeah, I guess. That was the third Christmas special. I loved it. I hope you loved it. Please let me know. I don't think I get enough responses. I know the first Christmas special got a lot of love and got a lot of attention at one point. But the other ones, I don't get enough attention, especially the third one. The third one had the most creativity to it. It was good. I loved it. So please watch this and let me know if you like it, if you can. Thanks. Great episode.
Sergio Studios.
This is a simple introduction because I'm like, okay, let's do one where it's just coming in. For at least this introduction. This one.
This better work.
This one, the evil vending machine comes back again. But instead he doesn't die. This time he doesn't die. He actually got brought back to life. Those two characters you see, the military guy, not the military guy, but the executive. The vending machine executive and the scientist, but really builder or scientific machine character. Yeah, he looks ridiculous, but I'm glad he looks ridiculous. I wanted the designs to be off kilter. So what if his like nose is an ear in this one? But yeah, these two characters you see, originally they were going to be in the previous episode, the one where the evil vending machine comes back for the first time. No, I think it was the previous season? Yeah, previous season. Because, yeah, and I was designing them, I was drawing them, but I realized while writing the episode and getting the episode ready, it didn't need these characters. It didn't really need these characters yet. So I pushed them to the next time the EVM comes back. And I wanted to really be, you know, between the characters. So for this one, I want him to come back, but with a little bit more understanding of who he is. Or I think I ultimately did this so he can just come back differently, and with already a more different design and even more anger, and with a bit more annoyed because of these two characters. But yeah, this one's a good episode too. Maybe not as good as the second one, but I do like the design of those two characters. They look ridiculous, but that was my point. That they're talking to this, like, because he's not fully built and he's not supposed to. He's just being like interrogated, so he's just given limitations.
Answer me,
I like that little animation and my line read on that one. I always like the eyes like closing. I don't know. I know why. It just looks cooler. Like he still has some power. Alright, the music here is better. A little better. Oh man, he's been messed with. Oh boy. And they're like, oh wait, we didn't know this. We weren't prepared. We weren't prepared. Yeah, and to let you know, probably in this episode, on the next season, but yeah, one of the characters died. He did die. That's why you didn't see him again in the next one, and why the military guy's poorly damaged. He was upset, and it's funny the executive is okay. Well, survived. Here, I'm just not impressed. All of the little mouth.
Really unstoppable, yeah.
And how the third one is just like, okay, fine, yeah, why not? Yeah, this episode actually came out pretty simple. Maybe it wasn't as good as the first two, but it still had some fun moments. Yeah, it had some fun moments. And also, I still kept changing the show, and one of the changes I ended up making was later on the desk. But I love desks. I do love the desk, the item, and I wanted to make it a much more bigger deal in the series. I don't want it just to be a sudden change. So it'd be funny if, like, throughout the series, he slowly it just slowly transitions to a new desk. There's even an episode where it's just him setting up the new desk, and I like that idea. I love desks, so they should get more attention in the series. So I like how it's being slowly broken. I can't believe this is the way I'm retiring the Sergio Show desk from 2010 to 2000. What was this? 16? Yeah, 16. Oh, I love that joke with the drawing and the. What do you think the circles were? It was a smiley mouth. Yeah, this to me was trying to like find a way to stop him, but this was too convenient. I apologize, but I had to find another way for him to be stopped that wasn't murder again. I didn't want it to be the third time, so he had to be stopped. And I still wanted him to be alive because he will be part of a bigger story later in the series. And he will also end, unfortunately, ultimately. Yeah, I can't believe the desk, it's gone. I can't believe I did that. EVM, darn it, you made me so mad that you destroyed my desk. But we'll have you taken care of. And the way he goes, you see him later in the series. It's a nice episode we're also going to get to.
I don't know why you're evil. I know, you're evil. It's because you're pretty much infested with some random supernatural evil things from that vending machine factory that is built on top of that, thing. Sorry about that. Just leave me alone.
Yeah. This one's good. Not as good as the first two
crap, my desk broke.
vending machine episodes, but still good.
A new desk later on.
I think something had to be sacrificed. It was the poor desk.
Anyway, that's all for this
Did
episode
I mention I love
of
desks?
The Sergio Show. I don't know much else for this episode, nor I don't know why.
Yeah, you'll see EVM later, you fools. You fools! No, you're not fools because you've probably seen this. I don't know.
I don't feel like harming anyone for now. It's just a personal decision of mine. I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I'm Sergio Dominguez saying have an animated day.
So that was that episode. You know what? Good enough episode. Pretty good. I think I could rewatch this. I think what's worth it was those two characters because they weren't in the previous episode of the vending machine, but I'm glad to bring them back, and they ended. So, there you go. That was the episode. Pretty nice. Pretty good.
Sergio Studios.
Oh, this one's a magical episode. This one's a milestone episode. This was a fantastic episode. I actually love this one. Yep, I remember this. Yeah, this was some episode. I love it. Simple episode, but great. This could also be one of my favorites. Simple episode. So, again, I want to do another Tired Sergio episode. Still have more ideas where he's back and he's more tired than ever, baby. But what can he do? Well, in the first one, he's tired, excuse me. Oh, I love that yawning animation. And I love the design. He looks more beaten down. Oh, he gets more beaten down later on, later on in the series. But I love this one. I love how he got his tired face looked more tired. So, first one, he tries to stay awake. The second one, what does he want to do? He still tries to stay awake to do the show, honestly. So, but he has to do something simple with what he has, and he tried to keep himself prepared. And I want him to do something simple while tired, because no matter the simple things we do, it ends up being really frustrating and really tough, especially when you're tired. Yeah, simple things become difficult when you're tired. That's what I was trying to make with this episode. So this is also improvised, and I thought, you know what? The character is so frustrated, so tired, and I had so many moments where I was like that too, that yep, it has to happen. He has to swear, uncensored, and he has to say the F word. That was a thing I thought about at the time. I was like, should I add, what variety should I have? What should the character finally do? What should be the right way to do it? And yeah, he should say the F word. I should say the F word. And look, this is not the first time the F word was ever said. This is the first time in the series where the character said the F word. Where the Sergio character, where I said it. But the first time the F word was ever said in the series was Juan in episode 29, that long ago. So almost 100 episodes ago. Yeah, almost 100 episodes ago. Sergio show brand cards. But I love how he's just he's like in agony. He's tortured that he cannot like do anything because he's tired. Like his body functions, but it's not just running well because of how tired he is, and that's relatable. You understand that? It's such a great concept. A lot of improvisation moments. But what else do I love about it? Yep, the F word. I gotta bring back the F word. So yeah, I do end up saying it and I improvise it. I just have to figure out what can I do? How can I say it? And ultimately, if you're gonna be super tired, try to build a house of cards, cheat with glue, and even then, as big as the house is and careful it was made, it still comes crashing down. Of course, you gotta say the F word, and and I wanted to say it in a very like real way, and say it in a very anticlimactic way. You understand? In a very anticlimactic way. Yeah, shivering. Yeah, I shake a lot too. Yeah, shivering. Oh, I love the sad mouth, and yeah, he's getting more frustrated. Yeah, this is also a very good episode. I love the second one more than the first, even though the second one has its fun moments. So yeah, when he said the F word, it was a fun relief for me, and it was fun. Like I knew the risk, but I warned everyone. I promoted it on social media about it, that I was gonna swear, and I think a lot of people loved the episode. I think they loved how I just said the F word, like it was a big deal, but I liked it. 3.5 hours later. It was funny when I animated me saying "what the F." Originally, my arms were gonna move when I said "what the F," but when he did that, hands on the sides pose, and he moved just his top body while saying "what the F," I was like, you know what? To heck with it. Don't make him move his arms. Just have him move his torso and just look angry while wobbling back and forth. It looks funnier. It looks funnier while he's saying "what the F," but it's subtle. Here it goes. What the fuck? I love the way I said it. It was brilliant. I hope you guys loved that. I got so many wonderful fan and ultimately troll-like comments. The troll-like comments were beautiful. I remember promoting this episode. I was so excited for this episode that I wanted to overhype it. I even brought it up while promoting it. Sergio's finally going to say the F word uncensored. Because I think I had fans that want me to say the F word, which is no problem for me. It's just I didn't want to say too often in the series. You know, it was something I always wobble back and forth when it comes to swearing. But there's moments where it has PG swearing. But that was a good release for me, and to me, I consider this one of my favorites, and also a historical moment in the series. You know, the F word is said for the second time or third time. Once said the F word, I think multiple times in that episode 29, and here we are 100 episodes later, and I finally get to say it, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Big So great episode. Historical episode, I gotta say. Wait a minute. Does it say 117? No, it doesn't say 117. Wait a minute. Ooh, it said 117 when it's actually 127. Wow. Did anyone catch that? I finally catch that. It wasn't supposed to be 117. It's 127. Is it? Yeah. Wow. Oh my God. I'm always careful with this, and I look over this, but yes, not that careful. But yeah, that's episode 127. But anyway, sorry about that. Ah, that was a good introduction too. Wait, is it the same one? No.
Welcome to another episode of
That always
Sergio
cut to black,
Show.
but I like the progress of the terrible desk. I mean, the broken desk, really. I love that desk, but I wanted a new one, one that won't take up the screen. But yeah, the change I think I mentioned before, I think I did a season or two ago. Yeah, last season was the camera's now much closer, which needed to be much closer because you want to focus on the Sergio character more. So that was one of the changes I did in the series. AARX is back, baby! So in this one, I want AARX to come back. The thing with the character is he can't animate without creativity, so he just needs help. He needs training. And this episode, he just trains him. And there's going to be a piece of hand-drawn animation. And I actually made it. Of course, I made it.
Are you okay?
So my idea was, this episode has to be put together quick. And I think it was. Maybe it took a week or less. The thing is, the cutout keyframe animation is a quick process, but when you get to the hand-drawn animation part, even when rough, it's pretty tough to do. Tough to make. But in my idea, since he's only doing just rough pencil test, it doesn't have to look perfect. But I still had to find a way to make it quick.
Awesome.
So I'm going to talk more about the hand-drawn animation part. I think I actually have a video about it. I do. Or maybe I forgot. But ultimately, I just took this little notebook with no lines on them. I just improvised animate every frame, which was about, 200 frames, 300 drawings or so. And I just used a blue pencil and drew all the frames. And then I just took a picture of each one on a webcam or a camera. Yeah, webcam, I think. And then brought it into the software, and it played as a clip, and I brought it in. That's how I got away with that. Because it had to be done in a day. So, because it didn't have to be perfect, and it just had to be improvised animation. I didn't have to follow anything. I just made it up. And I did it within 8 hours, just the hand-drawn animation part. Because that was the last thing I had to make. Because I did all the other animation parts later first. Then the hand-drawn animation part later. I'm glad I got to reuse that part of the episode. That part of the set. Yep, flash drive.
So, good luck. A long-ass animation session
that was a cute moment.
Okay, now let's see.
Here comes the thing I was talking about. Here it comes. Yep. All improvised animation. I was like, just draw whatever, have fun. This reminds me of when I animated in the early years with post-it notes. Yeah, that was 15 seconds.
Wow.
So yeah, it was 150 drawings then.
Was brilliant. Great job, AARX.
Oh, I'm such a sweetheart. And then I like AARX. Simple character and a simple like arc, but it is what it is on the character. But please let me know what you think about AARX though. I hope you like him.
Thank you very much for AARX.
I enjoyed the character fine.
Head open this time.
Please let me know in the comments below if you like AARX.
I'm Sergio the Human saying have an animated day.
Good episode, very good episode. I like ARX. I'm glad I get to not only like bring him back. You know, now he's a much more understandable robot character, and he does have a couple more appearances on the show, especially what is it, season 14. Unfortunately, his last moments are in season 15, but we'll get to that. We'll get to it. So good, good.
Sergio Studios.
All right. Excuse me. This was another introduction. It was simple, but I really wanted to be like the character going through some things. So you know the character's personality and the way he reacts to things all in one introduction for anybody else. You know, that cross-eyed thing doesn't make sense. It's probably the weaker ones that's saying something. But, oh, nice transition. Now, this episode only exists to continue the story arc of Evil Sergio. You know, and this doesn't have Evil Sergio in it, so this is actually a weak episode on its own, but it had to exist necessarily for the plot of the story arc. Because it is explained that there is a cargo hidden in the studio, and I decided let's have regular Sergio figure out, because he needs to catch up and figure out what's going on.
Oh.
And this episode was quick to me, because it was simple. It was like less than 5 minutes, and it really was just him talking and figuring things out. I love it. I like this gag right here. Yep. He can't come down the ladders normally. He got hurt. That happened to me a couple of times. It was like, go. Just nice and collected. There's a lot of nice faces that comes out of this character now. After like season 10.
Here's the form about it.
Yep.
This crate holds a collection.
Oh, that box animation. That was
storyboards,
difficult. Like, I think that...
And recorded material for incomplete, rejected content.
Because I wanted to animate a box rotating, a cube rotating. It came off. Well, yeah, of course. It came out really off.
Ever.
But even then, it came out looking nice at least. It doesn't look believable as a rotating cube, but it still looks like a fun rotation animation in general. Like it has like a little bit of a wonk to it, which should be like a wonk. Since this is like a crate with hidden secrets of animation supplies and stuff and props.
Living here for a couple of years.
But yeah, that took a while to make the box rotate like that.
I want to keep it.
But I wanted to add more like animation though. But how? So I was like, oh, then my legs like move comically. I do that sometimes where I'm like resting and I explain something. I just move my feet, move my legs like that, turn it into a cube. Try to talk instead of with my hands and arms, with my legs and feet. Try to be more energetic and comical, you know.
More about later.
I also really milked in the box rotation. So this one's a decent episode, you know, not bad. But it existed for the right reason, and that is to continue the Evil Sergio story arc again.
Bad animated content we've seen lately, could this really be bad now? So many mind-blowing questions. That could be discussed on the next time of The Sergio Show. Thank you and sorry for watching this. I'm Sergio Dominguez, saying have an animated day.
Okay, episode. The season finale is not that good, but I can understand why. Because it's honestly hard to top the season finale of the previous season. Because it was me meeting myself live action with the effect. But, no, we'll get to it, but yeah.
God, I was holding in that burp the whole time.
Oh yeah, that was like a last minute thing.
Anyway,
Because I wanted to add more jokes, so that was the best one I can think of.
Get ready for the
Pretty, yeah, of course, very lazy.
Yeah.
Very to the point. Yeah.
Sergio Studios.
Oh yeah, this supposed to be like classic cartoon introduction. So yeah, this is the one of the weakest episodes, if not the weakest episode of season 13. Just because the previous season finale was so good, and really I just thought of, okay, everything's starting to come together, and it's coming together really soon. So what can I do? What can anybody do? So it's just him just like figuring it out mentally, and like live action Sergio just makes a nice call, just letting him know to get ready mentally for this. You see, ARX comes back. He's just a little help here.
Oh, hi,
He comes more helpful later in the series.
Sergio
So this is also a serviceable episode,
especially me, Sergio.
but it really was too much like him just preparing for really the next couple of seasons.
I'm a little bit more deep in thought.
But it's okay. It was one of the episodes that I gotta say yes was serviceable, but still has more variety and still fun to enjoy than the re-edit review episode
the
thingy.
discovery of the old material that led to the worst animated cartoon ever that I just realized it's under the studio.
He's putting the pieces together.
Thing,
but what can he really do?
Sounds overwhelming. It could lead to something epic.
And I try to add some jokes within the character animation.
And I don't know when it will happen. Huh. You know, this used to not be this complicated. Cartoons have always been this.
But this episode was quick to put together because it was him on the desk for the most part. And the thing, and I wanted to finish the animation first, then do live action, because I want there to be a nice background sight gag, where he's calling his cartoon self. Well, his cartoon self is on the screen of the computer he was working on. I was working on. So it kind of looks like there's a parallel to that, and there's a little gag about it. Like, here it comes. I love this joke too.
Sergio Studios, how may I help you? Yes, hi. I would like to speak to.
The audio is much better here.
Live action me? Hey, how's it going? Hey, I'm doing great. Who is this? It's me.
I love this joke.
This is Cartoon Sergio. Oh, hey, it is you.
Yeah, you see the background, cartoon me. That's like the first frame of the previous scene, or the last frame of the previous scene.
Of this episode. What?
Yeah, I moved since then, or not since then, but later on I moved. I moved recently as of this recording.
Why? It's just a way to keep the show interesting and fresh, not just for the audience, but for me too. Wow.
Look at me trying to say my lines, but I think maybe my lines were off camera.
Look, it's what I've told you before. I've tried to make you and the show really special.
But this is also supposed to be a joke, a comical take on these TV shows and movies that always have a continuing story arc to them that keeps going and going, only to realize they actually have nothing prepared when it comes to what's happening next. The next episode, they do make it up as they go along. That's what that was also trying to bring up, that the whole story arc thing is just as prepared as the audience.
Thanks, I needed that.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. There was that one shot where it's a split screen, because I did have to find my live action shot, find out in real time, and then try to make it look like they see each other. So that was a good one. I like how they both have iced teas in both ends.
I just animated you doing that while talking to you over this trans-dimensional animation phone thingy, while I'm also animating it at the same time somehow.
I love that I'm just...
Makes sense this episode, kind of. Anyway, thank you for calling. And bye.
Oh, I love that. I love my little performance, and I love that just bringing up logic in the show. Oh, the part where I drink iced tea, I wanted to actually end this moment with me drinking the whole 2-liter bottle. I wanted to so darn badly, and I wanted to be done in real time, no edits. But no, that's as far as I went. There was a point where I think I went past half, but I was like, no, too much, or I couldn't make it. So I was like, to heck with it. I'll just cut to the beginning. But I couldn't get through with it. I couldn't go through with that. But yeah, the last one, okay, just okay. It did what it needed to do. But yep, that was season 13. Pretty good season. Had some good moments, good episodes. And the week episodes are just okay week. So it's been great. Thank you very much for listening to this commentary of the Sergio Show. Thank you very much. Comments down below. I'm Sergio Dominguez saying, have an animated day.
Sergio Studios.